Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Onyanta here, and today I have a very special segment because this year 2020 I decided I was going to do something called a book a month challenge. So I've challenged myself to read at least one book every month, and so far so good. I have been on track, and so I thought it would be a good time for me to sort of like give you guys a review, and for those of you who are interested in joining me to continue this journey, you can just hop on board and we can start doing it. It's never too late to start a new challenge, even though it's not the beginning of the year where we do our New Year's resolution and things. But I guess you can just decide to go with me from April and we'll see how that goes. For those of you out there who love reading, please send me suggestions, send me tips on books to read, because I'm really just absorbing information and I'm loving it. I'll start from March and work my way down. Number one, guys, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. Let me tell you how I found this book, guys. One day I was watching The Daily Show because I'm such a big fan of Trevor Noah and The Daily Show. On one of his segments, he was interviewing Kylie Reid, the author, and they talked about the book. I felt like, okay, this is a book I like to read, and since I'm like doing the thing where I need to read a book a month, I was like, okay, I definitely need to get it. I'm also following I'm a big fan of Reese Witherspoon, and she also has a book club, so I found that this was one of her picks for this year as well, and I was like, okay, Trevor Noah's endorsed it, Reese Witherspoon has endorsed it, and I liked the author from the interview, so why the hell not? So I went on Amazon and I ordered myself a copy of this book, and guys, I was not disappointed. I literally just finished this book a few hours ago, and it was such a page turner. I just was going through it and I did not want to stop. So I'll give you a little synopsis so that you can decide if it's something you would want to read as well. So the book is about African American woman, Amira. She's 25 years old and she's a babysitter. So she's currently babysitting for a white family. Their 2-year-old daughter Briar is currently her main ward, if you will, and this one night they had to call her in after hours because she normally works from like noon till like 7 p.m. but this day they had to call her in around like 10:30 p.m. to come in an emergency situation, and she had to come in to take the child out for a bit while they sorted out some issues that were going on at home. So Amira gets there, takes 2-year-old Briar to a grocery store in this very white neighborhood, and lo and behold, while she was in the store, she gets apprehended by the mall security guard, and he basically accuses her of kidnapping the baby. The whole encounter just like starts spiraling out of control, and luckily or unluckily for her, it was captured on camera by a bystander who just thought like this might be something that she would want footage of in case she needs proof. So yeah, all that happened, and this just set the premise for the book. And then going to her employer, the wife, her name is Alex, and she is a very interesting character, guys. So she suddenly wants to be best friends with Amira. So the book just sort of like delves into so many intricacies about race and work dynamics and how you want to relate to the people you work with, and interracial dating and figuring yourself out and coming into your own and knowing who you want to be as a person, and ambition and just being content with life. And I don't know how the author did it, guys. Like, she has this weird way of delving deep into like the human soul, some biases we don't even know we have, or some hypocrisies we have hidden in the depths of our soul that we don't even know about. She has this knack for uncovering such things, and it was just interesting to watch, like just watching people just try to be racially appropriate or just trying to suppress white guilt, or not even knowing that some of the actions they do manifest are actually as a result of white guilt. They think they're making things better, but they're actually making it worse. So yeah, just how she navigated this whole storyline. And then guess what? Amira, who's the babysitter, starts dating the guy that took the video of her, and he kind of like knows her boss as well. So like just watching how all their lives came together in this very entangled web is just ridiculous, guys. You definitely want to pick a copy of this book up and read if you're a reader. And if you prefer audiobooks, you can get this on Audible as well. I would add as much information in the description below. So this was my pick for the month of March, and I was not disappointed. In fact, I will read one of the reviews at the back. Author of Me Before You, This Is Now the Movie, if you know about it, says, Kylie Reid writes with a deceptively easy prose and a forensic eye for emotional self-sabotage and hypocrisies that make us human. I couldn't put this down. I couldn't put it down as well. In fact, I was begging and begging and begging for the book not to end, but I finished it in like, I don't even know, a few days. It was good. You definitely want to check this out, guys. It's a good one. I'm actually supposed to read this for the month of March. I started it, Tiny Buddhas, and I don't know what I expected, but I just thought it was gonna be like a novel, a story, consistent storyline, but it wasn't. It was actually like tips and like self-help tips, and just a few pages into it I decided it wasn't what I needed at this time, because it was sort of like just giving advice on different scenarios. So for instance, when you're hard on yourself, embracing self-forgiveness, it didn't quite apply to me. And when you focus on your flaws, accepting all of you, I accept all of me. So yeah, as I said, I didn't really quite identify with this one just yet, but for people who are looking for a guide to loving yourself, this might still be a good one for you. I'll probably look into this at some other time, but not right now. For the month of February, I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Guys, this was an interesting read for me, because I've heard so much about Malcolm X, from pop culture movies to just history and the civil rights movement. He was a very important voice during the era of civil rights movement in the United States, and I discovered I knew more about Martin Luther King Jr. than I did about Malcolm X, and I know he was also an important voice, so I decided, okay, let me know about this guy. And I guess they are very different. I'm not here to compare them, but they're very different. They both had the same message. He was a very interesting guy. He basically came from nothing, very big family, so many siblings, moved to the city, got into trouble, ended up in prison, found God or found Allah in prison, and basically educated himself. Like, he was self-taught. Like, I was amazed with the amount of information he was able to just absorb, and then coming out of prison and being a spokesperson that they were inviting to press conferences and TV shows to talk about religion and black matters and civil rights, and he even had an article in the Playboy magazine at the time. So yeah, he was an impressive person, and I can't say in terms of like black history I relate to the African American history, because obviously I'm from Africa and I don't have the same history that they do, but just reading about it and also being black, I would say I was able to identify in some cases just from maybe experiencing minute cases of racism, maybe when you travel or when you live abroad, and sort of like just more understanding of where a lot of people come from. Yeah, in terms of like the black history and the African American history, it was like very educational for me. So if you want to know a little bit about or more about African American history and civil rights movements, I guess you can find something here, but it's more focused on just his life. So if you want to know more about Malcolm X, this is a good book to read. But if you want something more about like civil rights and the whole entirety of that struggle, you might want to find something else. But it was definitely a good one to know, and at least now I can say I know more about Malcolm X, aka, is it Hajj al-Shabazz, something like that. Then for the month of January, I started out my year with this one, guys. Good is not enough. This is for professionals, minority professionals in the workplace. For those of you who know or have been following my story, you know I just recently moved to Toronto, Canada, and I'm working for an American company, and I guess I just wanted to arm myself with everything I need to know about being a minority in the workplace, because now that I'm no longer in Nigeria, I am now the minority, obviously. This book is one that will give you tips on how to just navigate like certain things that you might miss in terms of like just planning your career and just things to be aware of. I did mark out some pages that give some good advice. There's like a gold mine of advice in here, but one was like career killers you must avoid, so just things you need to stay aware of, like for instance, like validating your understanding of your annual targets. Like your boss gives you an annual target and you think you know what he wants from you, and then you get to the end of the year and you don't get the review you want, and then you now realize it's because you do not understand what his definition of success was. So just revalidating your understanding of certain things that are very crucial to your career and advancement. Also things like always being the most prepared in the room. So as a minority, it's a reality. You have to work twice as hard, or even 3 times or 4 times harder than the average person. So that is just a standard. You cannot just be average. You do not have the luxury to be average, to being aware that the rules of the game are not the same for you, sadly, but that's just the reality of life. Have to just be armed with all the information you need. Some must-have skills you would need to possess if you're planning to be a senior leader, things you just want to make sure you have in your arsenal in case you need to ever like be considered for a promotion or for a leadership role. You're already prepared because you have the basics. You just now need to just get through the hurdles. So yeah, it's a very good book, guys. If you're a minority in the workplace, you do want to check this out. And the executive director of the BET Foundation said about the book, "Good is Not Enough is a first-rate book that will undoubtedly change the way minority professionals view and actively approach their careers. Keith Wright has left no words unwritten to understanding why good is not enough." Guys, good is not enough. You have to be the best. So yeah, these are my books so far for the year 2020. As I said, I'm reading a book a month. If you're interested in joining the challenge, please message me, leave your comments below. And if you have suggestions on books we should read for the coming months, I would definitely want to hear those as well. So guys, yeah, today's segment is all about reading. Yeah, so as I said, you don't have to get hard copies. If you want, you can sign up to Audible as well. They do have audiobooks, so you can just lie down on your bed or during your free time and listen to someone else narrate the book for you. That's also a good fit. I do that sometimes, but this year I really want to read like hard copy books, so that's why you see all of these. So I'm currently looking for my next book, and I would appreciate some suggestions from you guys. Once again, guys, stay home, stay safe, observe all the protocols put out by WHO and Center for Disease Control, and let's all help curb the spread of the pandemic. So that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.